Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be addressing a conference in my home city of Mumbai. Otherwise, most of these conferences are dominated by Delhi and Bangalore. So good to see a decent, half-decent crowd in the Mumbai region as well. Congratulations to Sandeep and to Ashutosh for hosting this. It's becoming bigger every year. And I'm told that the next event that they have in Delhi is going to be done in a stadium, so well done to the +91 group. Sandeep started by introducing some of us as the superstars. Thank you, Sandeep, for that very kind compliment, but the real superstars are the ones inside our classrooms. We are just the ones who mold them to become the superstars that they deserve to be. Today I'm going to be talking to you about bringing back the human in an AI world. The education system of the entire world, the way education is transacted, is at the cusp of a dimensional shift. It was disrupted by the pandemic, and we have to ensure it's for the better. The way the pandemic hit us, there is no doubt in anyone's mind that digital transformation has changed the way that education is delivered in classrooms across the world. More importantly, though, is the purpose aligned with the way these trends are emerging, with the way the trends are forming? The latest in AI, VR, MR, XR. Have we missed the woods for the trees? Now, it's not a question of if, but when. At least some of these technologies will become mainstream in classrooms across the globe. But the fundamental question still lies is in, are we serving the purpose of our 21st century learners? Or are we just finding fancier ways of lesson delivery through e-pedagogues? There is no better time than a crisis that forces us to grow and wakes us up from the slumber of rudimentary pedagogy. We have all come out of a pandemic a few years ago. We can ill afford another education system that prepares students for and tests students in skills that they won't even require in their 21st century lifetimes. This is the time of transition, where those trends are still evolving and forming, and it is incumbent upon us, especially the education thought leaders, the influencers, to steer this evolution of education in the direction which will truly benefit our 21st century learners the most. This is one of those defining moments that comes once in centuries. Our posterity is going to look back, and they will either curse us for not rising up to the occasion when we had the opportunity, or thank us for steering this evolution of education in the direction which will truly benefit their 21st century lives the most. We as educators, we are preparing the children for jobs that don't exist yet. They're going to be solving problems that we don't even know are problems yet, by using technologies that haven't even been invented yet. So what is our role then as educators? It is so extraordinarily fascinating. It's so unpredictable. Most of the people in the audience today are principals, school leaders of some kind or the other. Principals love to have these planners, academic and non-academic planners. Your entire year ahead is planned out. What happened in 2020? All those plans got washed away by this COVID. While having certain plans is good, you have to know how to embrace uncertainty. What are those skills that our 21st century learners are going to need? This is the time to truly espouse, live, breathe, imbibe those 21st century skills that we once sagaciously foretold from the ramparts of the biggest education conclaves. And what were those skills? What are the most important skills that we need to develop in our students? The ability to cope with limited resources, to be agile, adaptable, flexible, to be resilient, to be a critical thinker, problem solver, independent thinking. Which of these skills do our exams measure? Teachers are not weapons of mass instruction. In fact, teachers who think that their job is to mass instruct tend to become teachers of mass destruction. What do they destruct? The creative learning capacities of the child's brain. What are the latest buzzwords in education circles these days? Everyone's going gaga. Oh, what are the latest buzzwords? AI? Okay, I'm going to open this up to the audience. What is AI? What does it stand for? Very easy one. There's no prizes for AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. AR. Augmented reality. Once I went to a conference, somebody said argumentative reality. It is not the argumentative, it's augmented reality. Tough one. MR. What is MR? Nobody has a clue. Mixed reality, the hybrid, the phygital. STEM. STEM is, of course, not new anymore. It's now quite old. Any idea when STEM, the abbreviation STEM was coined? When was that name made? In which year was the name STEM coined? Guesses? Which year did the name STEM come up? No guesses? 2001. So we talk about STEM being this last 5-10 year thing. 2001 is when STEM was started. But it really gained popularity in 2009 when President Barack Obama really said that America needs to focus on STEM because all the STEM jobs are being taken by these Indian and Chinese people. So we are going to invest in 1 lakh STEM classrooms under the Obama administration. And then what happened after STEM? It got changed to another acronym. Anyone knows what it got changed to? What did STEM get changed? STEAM. Very good. Because the arts people said, hey, but what about us? We are also very important. And then what did it get changed after STEAM? Any guesses? STEAM. STEAM became STEAM. The humanities said, but no, how can the arts get involved but not the humanities? So STEM became STEAM, became STEAM. Let's forget about all these acronyms and these fancy abbreviations. That's not what's important. But what is important is that there's so many government bodies, schools, that are running behind the technology in education just to get onto this bandwagon, just for tech's sake. In today's parlance, the kids, the students would call it that schools are doing it out of FOMO. What is FOMO? All the younger crowd in the audience is like, oh yeah, fear of missing out. All the older ones are like, wait, FOMO, I've heard that one before. Fear of missing out. Please don't invest in technology in your education, in your schools, just for FOMO. That's the wrong reason. Everyone's heard of Finland, right? Especially if you're an educator, you've heard of Finland a little bit more. Why? What's so great? Finland is amongst the top 2 or top 3 ranking in all the PISA rankings, TIMSS rankings, all the different rankings of the educational world. Finland is always on the top. I've studied the Finnish system of education at great depth and length. Sat inside classrooms, sat inside the staff room, met Irmeli Halonen, the Minister of Education in Finland. I was once in a city of Jyväskylä. Jyväskylä is this tiny central Finland city. And I was visiting a school there and I met the principal. And I can tell you one thing, the principal culture of schools in Finland is very different. That principal was wearing a Ferrari t-shirt and torn jeans. And I was shocked. Like I went in a full suit, tie and a nice, big, long trench coat. Anyways, the principal was there in his Ferrari t-shirt and jeans. And I asked him, how come y'all in Finland don't invest so much about technology in education? The rest of the European countries, the rest of the OECD countries are going gaga over edtech. But y'all in Finland, y'all are doing so well. But y'all don't invest that much in technology. What's going on? Why? How come? Do you feel scared that you're going to be left behind? He said, Raghav, why should I show my children the different kind of berries on a screen when I can go outside and show them in real life? Now, while it was a limited point, his message was loud and clear. That so many are just over-obsessively running behind technology just because ABC school has it, XYZ school has it. That Sharma ji ka beta syndrome. Because they are doing it, that's why I should have it. That is the wrong reason for investing in technology. There is no buy-in from any of the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Your teachers, your students. If they are not bought into the vision of why you are investing in that technology, if it is a top-down approach, the management or the IT department or the principal or the director has said, ye टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ जाएंगे, थोप दो उन पर. It will become a fancy piece of furniture gathering dust. I visited a school in Essex. Essex is the county where London is situated. I was visiting a school outside of London, and they had this millennium classroom. The classroom was probably half the size of this hall. You pressed one button and one panel would open, and it was the next level classroom. I think they had spent £1 million on it or something like that. They had the minister come and cut the ribbon. So when I visited the school in that classroom, I asked the teachers, wow, what an amazing classroom you have. You must be so proud to have such a fancy classroom that y'all are the teachers. I've come all the way from India to see what a wonderful classroom it is so we can try to replicate it and all. So you must be really excited about it. And they said, yeah. I said, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's your level of excitement on this millennium classroom. They said, the problem is that, yeah, okay, fine, this whole fanfare was done, media came, ribbon cutting, we came in the media and all these things. But one, the training is not good enough for us to understand how to make the use of it. The internet bandwidth does not support it. For the smallest little of problem, maintenance issue, we can't call a carpenter or an electrician. It's just too advanced. So it's become a white elephant. The buy-in wasn't there. You can't, as a head of school, just thopo technology onto your teachers and expect it suddenly to do wonders. You have to answer two most fundamental questions. One, is the lesson delivery being enhanced? Is the learning outcome actually improving? If the answer is yes, then think about how you are going to implement that technology in the education. In this day and age where more and more children are suffering from nomophobia, does anyone have an idea what is nomophobia? Nomophobia. It's quite intuitive. No mobile phobia. You know, if you wake up one day and you have your battery at 2% and it did not charge, oh my God, the day is going to go badly. Duk, 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 duk. How are you going to manage the day with only 2-3% battery on your phone? In this day and age where nomophobia has become a condition, we have to ensure the balanced usage of technology, ensuring that the virtual worlds of children don't overshadow the real worlds of the children. Parents come up to me and ask, I tell them that when your child starts replacing football between his feet with football between his thumbs, that is when the child has a problem. So many educators here. Let me ask you in a very simple way. In one word, what is education? What is the purpose of education? In one word. Most simple, basic sense, purpose of education in one word. What would you say is the purpose of education in one word? Sorry? Ethics. Ethics. In its most simple, basic sense. Why do parents send their children to school? So that they can maximize their inherent learning, excel at what they are best in. Simple one word is for learning. The purpose of education is learning. It isn't teaching, it is learning. What is the role of the educator in the 21st century then? Is it just an information delivery process? These days you have Swiggy, Zomato and all these delivery boys. Is a teacher just a delivery lady of information and knowledge? When we were in school in the 80s and 90s, a teacher would stand on a stage and blurt out these pearls of wisdom. And we would all grab those pearls and thuso them in our head. Today, children already have limitless information on their fingertips with Google. The role of the educator in the 21st century has moved from that sage on the stage to a guide on the side. From being that gatekeeper, security guard of knowledge, you went to the teacher to get knowledge. Now, her job is only to be a facilitator of learning. What is the highest form of learning that can take place in a child or in an adult? Highest form of learning. Any guesses? It's called heuristic learning. You've heard of pedagogy? Heutagogy. What is heutagogy? Heuristic learning. Self-led, self-directed, self-owned learning. You give the problem to the child, let them find the solution to it, rather than you explaining them how to reach the answer. Schools across Asia are so good at explaining this is the way you reach the answer. That is one of the lowest forms of learning. Heutagogy, heuristic learning, is when the child is the owner of the problem and has to find the solution themselves. With automation, technology, and now the Industrial Revolution 4.0, we don't need our children to be second-class robots, but instead be first-class humans. Education is not a transactional phenomenon. It isn't just about transacting curriculum. The fundamental crux on what the good education is based is the human relationship a teacher forms with her learners. The hippocampus. What is the hippocampus? Where in the body is the hippocampus found? Brain. What does the hippocampus do? It is the learning centers, memory centers of our brain. The hippocampus is directly connected to and next to the amygdala. What is the amygdala? The emotional centers of our brain. The emotional state of the child is directly related to the quality of learning that takes place in the child's brain. And what is the most favorite thing? Most of you are educators. What's your most favorite thing? Especially come Jan, Feb, March, what are we all running behind, chasing? Marks, tests, scores, exams, board exams. Now we are going to be chasing in April also for the second board exam, in CBSE at least. Now what are tests? What are they meant to be? Tests are meant to be diagnostic. They are meant to diagnose the strengths and the weaknesses of the child so that the teacher can adjust her lesson delivery accordingly. That's all that the purpose of tests are. You do a diagnostic test, you go to a so-and-so lab and you do a diagnostic test, you find out maybe my cholesterol is high, maybe my triglycerides are high, maybe my sugar is high. Do you get a label on your forehead? Cholesterol, diabetic, pre-diabetes, don't give her fried food. Yet, exams in our country have become a way to put a label on a student's forehead. Somebody gets 98, we put a label on his forehead saying genius. And after the exams, there will be one photo of his being fed laddu by his teacher or principal or by the parents, and the media will come and take that photo and glorify it. What about the other child who went from 60 to 80? He is a topper. In my dictionary, that's also a topper. Why don't we have a photo of that child with laddu? Why aren't we changing what is important for us? And what are these tests measuring? For a large part, the child's ability to memorize and regurgitate better. In the 21st century, the children already have Google on their fingertips. By the time they grow up, they will be auto-prompted with AI and other technologies with the information that they need to complete their next task. And yet here, we as an education system are sitting and running behind their ability to memorize and regurgitate better. Let's say you got 95 and you got 75, but you know how to use Google better than you. What difference does it make? Knowledge is not important. It is how you apply the knowledge that is important. We care so much about the marks that a child gets in an exam. We forget to care whether they leave a mark with their life. The purpose of school is preparing students for the exam called life. The focus has to shift from content mastery to competence mastery. Because in the 21st century, the world economy will not reward you for how much you know, but for what you can do with what you know. Not for the amount of knowledge that you have, but for how you apply the knowledge that you have. Thank you very much.